everyone gets a medal for participation.
Yeah. So she reads her 10% DNI.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I guess the auditors wouldn't be looking at that, would they? In the vlog last week.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Was it when I walked into your vlog? I
This
try
is
and
the first.
purposely do it.
Too much. Yeah.
It's its own second job.
Not the public side of it.
Good morning, team. I am with the ducks and the geese, I would say, but there's less of them today. Maybe they're having a little lie-in. It is early-ish in the morning, early enough, and it is frosty out. My brain is again trying to kick into gear and think like an adult. So a little debrief from yesterday's lunch, and I hope you can hear this okay. Okay, I'll start with the good points. The good points are that in terms of a Greek restaurant in London, the flavors are good. Will they ever fully match up to a traditional Greek eatery? I'm not sure, because that's hard to do. It's hard to do because the quality of produce is totally different. For instance, one of the dishes we had at this restaurant were seasonal greens, or seasoned greens, one or the other. The translation of that is chorta. So for anyone Greek watching this, it's basically these delicious greens, like mountain greens basically. They're kind of like spinach type, but less smooth. You basically put a nice amount of olive oil on them, nice bit of lemon, and they taste amazing, fresh. It's a perfect accompaniment to fried stuff or even to Greek salad. Anyway, the equivalent here did not taste like that at all. So in that sense, I'm always gonna go into a Greek restaurant in London knowing that it's gonna taste different because the produce is different, inevitably. The other dishes, like the pasticcio, which is kind of like a lasagna, I think is the closest comparison I would give it. But the flavors are different because there's cinnamon in the ground beef, for instance. It's bechamel. The pasta you use is different. It's not lasagna sheets, but it's kind of this thick macaroni, which is so satisfying. It sort of absorbs the flavors in a different way. Anyway, the pasticcio is nice. It's kind of comes in a deconstructed format. Is that needed? Probably not. It makes it look messier, but hey, it was tasty. So pasticcio is nice. The crab and orzo pasta was really good. So yeah, so there were lots of things going for it, right? Where things kind of went downhill is the service. And I realized that they haven't been open for that long, although I think it's been 3 months now. Our team had to take a pause as my hand was getting tired. I'm on my phone, so I have to carry it awkwardly. So where was I? So they've been open, I think, for about 3 months now. So I don't know, maybe I'm being unfair. I would have thought that teething problems around service would have maybe been improved on, worked on, etc. Obviously nobody's perfect. We're humans at the end of the day. But I will go into what happened. It's nothing tragic, it's just that it's not great. So we walked in and it was 3 of us on the reservation, and we were given a table for 2. So a square, small table. Now, I think that is either okay for 1 person or 2, max. I don't think that with 3 people and all the plates and dishes that is enough space. And I think what had happened is I had to change the booking from 4 people to 3. And they figured, well, that means that we can split up a table of 4 and basically make more money, because we'd make more money with 3 people on one and 3 people on the other than just 3 people on 2 square tables, if that makes any sense. So from the get-go, from when we sat down, we could tell that it was going to be, a bit tight. And then the dishes started coming. It was quite clear that we would not have enough space on the table. Now, there was a table diagonally from us, another small square table that was empty. It did have the reserved sign, but I figured, maybe they won't be there for a while. It didn't have the time on it, basically. So when everything was brought over, and bear in mind, they bring everything at the same time. But when we saw that there wasn't enough space, I asked if we could have the other table. And they're like, no, unfortunately not, because we have a reservation coming up shortly. I was like, okay. that kind of sucks. I don't really know what to do here. Any amount of Jenga or Tetris, not Jenga, Tetris. There's only so much Tetris of the plates that we could do. Like, it wasn't possible to eat everything at that pace to make sure we had enough space. Okay, so they said that that isn't possible, but our waiter was like, but we can give you a stool. So the suggestion was to bring us a stool. Now, this wasn't a wooden stool, like a hard wooden stool. It was one of those that has like woven basket material for the seat. So very much a sitting on kind of stool. My friend who was kind of advocating for us said, well, no, because I don't think that that will make a very like pleasant dining experience. Which is totally fair enough. Like, that wouldn't have been comfortable. Though that same waiter with a stool said, you know what, it's okay. I'll take a couple of these hot dishes back to the kitchen, place them under the heat lamp. The heat lamps only go so far, right? Anyway, I know I sound entitled here, but the next part is quite funny. We had another waitress who came around and said, I'm so sorry about the table situation and not having enough space. What happened was that that table diagonally to you, which is still free, and this was, by the way, after an hour and a half was still not taken, the one that had the reserved sign. And she said we had someone very important from Greece email us saying they want that exact table. So, you know, we kind of had to scramble around trying to find a table for them. So that's what happened. That's why we couldn't give it to you. And this woman, she was nice. I think that we kind of at that point just wanted to get on with things. It had been an hour and a half, and we just didn't want to keep getting disrupted, even though it was for a good purpose. And she did apologize, which I think was important to do. It's just a word. So yeah, so she said there was someone important that had emailed. A, that sounds like BS. B, that doesn't particularly make us feel very valued. C, it's like, just say, we're really sorry someone booked. They were gonna come and then they never did. Something like that. We don't need that whole backstory. We won't have the same sympathy or understanding as customers. We're paying customers, you know? Anyway, so that was the experience. So the consensus was that it was gonna be rated a 4 out of 10 in terms of service. They can do a lot more in terms of service. And to be honest, like, I'm just a bit turned off. So I don't think I'll be going again. There's enough other restaurants to go to. It's just a shame because Greek food is only just getting traction in England, which is kind of ridiculous in its own way. But I do hope that momentum is maintained. It's just that I won't be going back to this place. Hello team, it's after work on a Monday. It's not even 6 o'clock yet, but I'm hungry. Haven't had enough snacks. Yeah, I had some leftovers from Taverna Ermu. I know to be honest, I don't think I was being harsh, but I know I was berating it in some ways in terms of the service. The food was good, and actually I forgot to mention one of the dishes we got basically have a mixture of lamb and beef kebab on top of a pita with a yogurt sauce that goes on the pita. Kebabs on top, onions, parsley. So I have that left over, and then I also have some spanakopita dip, which I've made before, and you can see that in my shorts. So I'm gonna have a bit of what is a disjointed meal, and then I'm gonna do some random little recipe testing. So if you watch my Seville videos, you'll have seen that in one of the restaurants, this is such a sort of specific detail that you are totally forgiven to not remember. But in one of the restaurants, they mentioned they had won an award for best tapas dish. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. When people tell me they've won an award, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll see what the fuss is all about. And this dish was these sweet olive oil torta biscuits, which are very traditional in Seville. And on top there was some sort of sushi grade salmon. Then there was some lime juice, avocado, orange juice as well. So I decided to try it. I myself don't have sushi grade salmon and didn't want to spend the money for that. So instead I have some very fancy tinned tuna that I'm gonna try with this instead. But here we have it. It does not look as pretty as it did at the restaurant, obviously. I think I needed to cut the avocado a bit finer. It's quite heavy on the avocado, but yeah, I mean, it's not like it's an overpowering flavor. And I'm gonna put some salt and some pepper and chili flakes on this. Yay! Morning, team. It's a Friday. I'm happy about it. It's also a day off for me, so super excited about that. I have a graduation ceremony to go to, which I haven't been to something like that in years. I'm nervous about what to wear. Anyway, I realized that on this vlog, I've barely filmed any of myself like talking to you, so I figured I might as well do that now. I will be filming so much footage this weekend, and I'm so excited because on Saturday night I'm going to this restaurant called 2210 by Natty Can Cook. If you're big on social media and in the foodie world, you will definitely have come across videos from him or the restaurant or people talking about him. For instance, Top Jaw. I mean, most people will have come across them, I think, especially Londoners. So Top Jaw has filmed something on them. So many sort of food vloggers and food content creators have gone there and said it's one of the best experiences. It's highly rated. He is actually seeking a Michelin star, which is even more incredible when you consider his story, his backstory, which is essentially he was in prison for a little while. And then when he came out of prison, here he is now. He's a restaurant owner and a chef, and he's looking to get a Michelin star. So it's such an incredible story. You can't really deny that, really. So going there on Saturday, it's Caribbean or Caribbean if you're British. It's meant to be sort of quite hot, spicy, fragrant, flavorsome, all those good things. So yeah, I'm super excited. That will be in next week's vlog, as I kind of want to have enough time to edit everything. As I mentioned, you've barely seen my face in this episode, and I always think it's going to be a bit of a struggle to fill those kinds of episodes, especially when you get to a Friday and you think, damn, I really have not done enough work leading up to this. But anyway, I'm super excited about this weekend. And I should say before the restaurant as well, I'm going to a barbecue for a friend's birthday in East London. Apologies for not giving you a day-to-day, blow-by-blow kind of vlog this week. This is a work in progress, you know? So yeah, thank you for watching up until now. starting to look great. Just have to flip them around so that they bake evenly on the other side as well. Lesson learned, this bread was a bit too soft for this experiment, so you need probably something harder, maybe like a stale-ish white bread or brioche, which is thicker. But still, the smell is insane, and yeah, we just need it to crisp up on the other side as well, but lesson learned.
Well, I'm sure that colleague is not going to.
Going in and trying to define it, I'm like, I'm so happy to move on and just stick around. That's what I would do. I would stick around that way.
Fun place to be like, what else?
Not much at all.